Hi guys, welcome to Bollywood Bubble. My name is Rohan, and with me today is an actor who, if I say is versatile, will just be an understatement. His latest film is Madaari, which is making a lot of noise for all the right reasons. With me is the very talented, very versatile Mr. Irrfan Khan. Thank you so much for talking to us. It's one of my first with you, and I must say it's a pleasure even before it starts. So, sir, talking of Madaari, you're not only acting in the film, you're also producing the film. What made you back the project?
Let me be honest to why I become turned producer. See, we had a film called Pan Singh Tomar, and it was after finishing the film. Although the producer loved the film, but because big corporates have their own, um, you know, own challenges. So somehow the film was not getting released for 1.5 year. So I was feeling really helpless. I've never felt that helpless in my life. So that time I thought, when I do an important film, I should at least have a say, or at least have a right to bring my work to the audience. So to have that a kind of right over your own work, that made me take this decision.
So in a way, we can say actually Tigmanshu Dhule is responsible for making you producer.
Himanshu Dhulia was also on the same boat as I was. It was UTV at that time, who, because of certain, I don't know what was the inner thing, but it was getting delayed, and we also kind of gave them offer to buy the film, but we were not successful in that. They said we will release it, but at that time you know I was feeling so helpless. How do we bring this film out?
Such a
You know,
nice film.
yeah, yeah, and they loved it. Yeah.
Sir, talking of the director here, Nishikant Kamat, आपने you had worked with him in Mumbai Meri Jaan. That was I think 8 years back, 2008. So how was it working around this time with him? Has he changed? Has he become more commercial? Has he evolved?
He has evolved as a filmmaker, and I could see the sign of getting evolved and taking a particular direction when I was doing Mumbai Meri Jaan, because there was one scene where I'm in the mall, and I'm trying to gauge the situation. At that time, the kind of treatment he was doing, I could feel that he's getting ready for a kind of narratives which are for the bigger mass, or for the bigger public. So he has changed the gear after that. So that's, he wants to address his film, or bring his films to a larger audience, and he has the craft, and that's why he did Laibari. You can see Laibari ka style in Rocky Handsome and Force, and then Drishyam. So he has kind of deliberately changed the gear, and he is making films which could be enjoyed by a larger mass.
Sir, you also have a child artist with you in this film, and generally it is said about kids and child actors, it's a little difficult, little tricky working with them. So, how was your experience over here?
We fortunately we had a great boy with whom we were shooting, and he has a lot of experience. With I felt like I'm working with a very refined actor with him. I was apprehensive in the beginning. I was concerned whether I'll have a chemistry with him. Will he understand? Will he respond to me according to the situation? But he was so beautifully, he adapted his own style, that he was, everybody was in love with him in the on the sets. Yeah.
So, talking of chemistry, there's also Jimmy Shagel with you in this film. Last time around, one of my favorite films is Hasil, where you guys had an amazing chemistry, I must say. So, can we expect something similar in this film?
We have done a few important films. Whenever we came together, it was Hasil. Then we did Sahabi Gangster Returns, and I have always enjoyed his presence. He's a fantastic human being. He's a very, very nice person. And this film, we have, it's a different chemistry. We cannot repeat Hasil. Hasil was, whatever it was, it's a special film, and we cannot come close to that. But it's a different kind of chemistry in this film we have.
And how's the camaraderie with him? How's the chemistry with him off screen? जब आप लोग फिल्म नहीं कर रहे होते हैं, for example.
He's a very private person. and he thinks I'm a very private person. So whenever we have a very very soothing interaction we have, but he keeps to himself. He's
Since we spoke of Hasil, I'll just take this opportunity to ask you. So, Hasil was a negative character, and after that, a couple of films of yours, you were, in that negative zone. So, did that at any point in time, sort of, when you look back today, or maybe if you could recall from then, that did it discourage you, or was it like a learning phase that you sort of evolved, or something of that sort?
After doing Hasil, I thought that people will understand that I am capable of playing different characters, but it didn't happen that way. I kept getting offers of another Ranvijay Singh, and that became a kind of boring exercise for me. So I kept refusing a lot of work, uh, in, and I was a bit disappointed and a bit impatient. Uh, so I took up a few roles because you have to run your kitchen as well. So that was not a very good experience, but at least I was busy. I was doing something.
So, after that, which film would you say that again, sort of changed the tide of things for you?
It didn't change the tide, but it kept me alive. And the other boost was Makbul. I really loved it. After Hasil, whatever reward I could get from the Hasil was Makbul. And Makbul is something, it's very close to my heart. Hasil, Makbul, both films. There are few films which kept me alive, which kept me giving back. Either were Namesake or Pan Singh Tomar or Metro. So these are the films which kept my hopes alive that I will be able to reach a position where I could tell my own stories.
Sir, coming back to Madaari, so there's Madaari, and last year there was Talvar, both based on true incidents, real life incidents. So, what is it about these stories that really attracts you?
Yeah. See, Talwar, I did it because uh, the film needed a kind of face so that film becomes viable. For me, the character was not something where that I will get a chance to do something. You know, it was not so attractive character. It was the it was a movie. What is saying, what the movie is trying to say. The perception of of that case. That was important for me. That how come we don't know anything about this? This has happened in front of us. This has happened because there's so much of news channels are there. There are magazines. There are news reports, and even then, how we are only familiar with one aspect. We don't know about this at all. So that hit me, and also it was a kind of Vishal Saab said that we need to do this film, and please do it. So I felt like I should be part of it so that Meghna could get her voice, and of course important story you know s- see the light.
And it turned out to be one of your finest performances, I must say. I mean, it's one of those, especially the climax scene, that was very enjoyable. But since we are here for Madari, so let me ask you, Madari was supposed to come in May, and then फिर July में आके फिर तो ये why so many? I mean, the release date shifts. Would you like to put some light on it?
See, 15th July we was supposed to come, and then the Great Grand Masti was supposed to come on 22nd July, got leaked online. So they thought they should prepone their date. So they were also coming on 15th. So now we have limited theaters. So if we would have stuck to that date, then we would have ended up fighting each other. And Great Grand Masti, they were already in a kind of problem. So we thought, we are not being able to do anything about piracy. We are not being able to do anything about this online leak, which happens often. So we thought, we might as well, let's shift our dates, and let them recover, and then we can. It's a kind of gesture. It's a kind of a gesture to oppose this, whatever this happens. This leak and piracy.
I'd just like to ask you on that. So now, since you're a producer yourself, it seems to be becoming a trend. Great Grand Masti, Urta Punjab. Last year there was Manji, Serad. I believe Sultan was also leaked. So, as a producer, what do you think the steps should be to sort of counter this? Plus, what else should be happening?
It's a very easy step. It's not a complicated thing. The industry should come together, have a voice, and ask, demand the government that we are paying so much of tax. Do something about it. We need accountability. It's that simple, and it's that complicated. And it's that difficult because we don't have one voice. It's like जैसा दौर चल रहा है जिसके हाथ में जो आ जाए वो बहुत है ना. सबका अपना अपना चलता रहे ठीक है. मिल के एक इंडस्ट्री को लेकर या एक हॉलीवुड का आपके सामने थ्रेट है जो कि बहुत बड़ा थ्रेट है. द अदर थिंग इज़ दिस पायरेसी. If everybody can come together and look at these dangers and find a way to find a solution, and it's not that difficult. And you are not you have a strength. You pay so much of tax to the government. You have a right to ask and demand.
And sir, one last question. There's a video of yours where you're interviewing Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav, which is really witty and funny. How was your experience of interviewing him?
I enjoyed very much, and it was first time I interviewed somebody. I was very nervous, and I didn't know I didn't know how to conduct it. So I was little shaky. But this request I have sent it to many people because my film deals with the system and common man, and I wanted to ask. There's so many questions, there's so many concerns. I want to ask people who runs the system. So I requested Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, I requested Mr. Modi, and other people as well. But I got the reply from Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav, so I gladly went there and I did the interview.
Any other politician you'd like to interview?
I told you I've sent requests to Mr. Modi and also Arvind Kejriwal. So if I get a chance, I'll go any time and I'll ask questions from a common man's point of view.
Thank you so much, sir. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for your time. Good luck with the film. Thank you so much, sir.